You can wait till next meeting?
I sure can.
All right.
Okay?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
So we'll close our.
Hold on, we got one.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Good morning, sir. Come forward.
State your name.
Now face this way.
No, face the board president.
All right. Good morning, I'm James Welch.
Morning, Mr.
I
Wells.
live at 1498 Poorhouse Road East. And Mr. Carpenter, I went and talked with him the other morning, and he recommended, well, suggested that I come and speak with you all. On the 19th of last month, I left my house driveway, and my neighbor lives up the street east of me. He has a hill right in front of his driveway. Well, I can't see the vehicles coming toward South Montgomery. And when I pull out Wednesday morning, this car ran up behind me and it just stayed on its horn. So I wanted to, you know, see if someone could do something about that. You know, either reduce the speed, put down some speed blocks or something, or either some signs to let them know that we can't see them, because I don't want to disrespect nobody. So I can't see over the hill on the other side of the hill. When we pull out, you know, they right up on you. So, and a lot of them be speeding. And also, people be riding bicycles on that road. And when they come over, they don't blow at them, they slow up. The school bus, they get 2 stops between Hale State Road and where I live. They pick up children right there. So when they coming east on Poorhouse Road, past the state Hale Road, there's a hill right there. So when they come over, that's a curve, and they picking up the school bus and stopping picking up children, or either letting them out. So I would, you know, recommend that somebody do something about that road, and before somebody gets hurt.
What's your address?
1498 Poorhouse Road.
What's the speed limit on that road?
It's 40 right in that area,
Right.
But it's 45 from South Montgomery, and then there's a curve right there where I was speaking about. I got a picture on my phone where somebody in a Dodge pickup truck probably was speeding and had to leave the road and run off in my cousin's yard.
I think I know where he's talking about. I've noticed that area is a little sketchy driving through there too.
And they done tore down the wire fence of Mississippi State pasture. It's been tore down several times.
Yeah, I think it's
Go ahead.
no, I think it's right there past.
And it's a young man, he jogs every morning. This morning I noticed he came by, and if he had been jogging, he jogged facing the traffic. That truck that went off in my cousin's yard, if he had been there, he'd probably been, you know, gone.
Do you think some signage up there to get people to slow down, or what? I'll tell you, my only problem with putting speed bumps and stuff like that is that could create a problem too. I mean, it could mess up a vehicle. That being said, that is a problem, and this. Do you think signage would help over that area to help people slow down, or what would be better?
We can put it there. I'm gonna tell you, when people are running, they don't, you know, we can put it there.
And we probably need to call the sheriff's department and get them to maybe do a little more patrolling early in the morning if they can. You know, because once the word gets out, people start slowing down.
I remember one day, Mississippi State Police, they was out with the radar, and they pulled over a lot of people right there just past my grandmother's house for speeding.
So, Mr. Collins, could we get you to go out and look at the area?
Yeah.
And put some signage up, and maybe we can coordinate with our sheriff department and Mississippi State University to start patrolling that area and running some radar.
Yes, sir.
And I think that would probably help the
Yes, sir.
situation.
Well, I sure appreciate it.
But Mr. West, we thank you so much for coming before us, and we'll see if we can come up with some remedies that might help.
All right, thank you.
Don't hesitate to call us if we can help.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Need a motion to acknowledge Mr. Welch's motion by Supervisor Little. Second by Supervisor Howard. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, I'm Michael Schuman with Pro Services. Pro Services does roadside spraying for counties all across Mississippi, many counties. And I know Mr. Collins, the road manager, will be presenting some proposals for the roadside spraying for 2025. We would certainly appreciate the opportunity to work for Oktibbeha County if that were to work out. And we would be ready and willing to go if it works out for us. So I just
Do you do spraying a lot of places?
Yes, ma'am. We spray all across the southeast. I live in Madison, Mississippi myself, but we spray for probably 20-25 counties in Mississippi. And so,
What other counties around here do you spray for?
a lot in this area. I mean, like Monroe County, we have some big contracts, some smaller contracts. We do some just for beat systems. Some we do for, the entire county. Lee County, we're starting a project today in Lee County. We're spraying all the county roads in Lee County.
So when y'all come and spray, do you set it on a schedule to spray, to have the whole, county or area spray?
Yes, we do whatever the road manager or the supervisors want. We coordinate with them with their spraying, with their mowing, their mowing cycles. Try to coordinate for the best bang for their money on the spraying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we work with each county individually according to what they're trying to achieve, what their goals are, what their problems are, and things like that. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
What was your last name?
Schumann,
Spell it.
SCHUHMANN.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Schumer?
Yes.
Okay. Need a motion to acknowledge Mr. Schumer's motion by Supervisor Little. Second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, next on our agenda, we've got our tax assessor collector, Ms. Joe Helen Walker via Ms. Barbecue. Good morning.
Good morning. I've got erroneous sale.
Okay. Motion to grant erroneous sale acknowledgement to our tax assessor. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? Motion passes. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Okay. Okay. Good morning, Ms. Walker.
Good morning, greetings everyone. I'm here to present a Freeport warehouse exemption on behalf of Glow Properties right here on Main Street.
Okay. Motion to grant permission.
Yeah, that's right.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second. I'll second. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we've got our county engineer, Mr. Clyde Pritchett. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Couple of items for you and few updates. Some of which may already be in the packet. first item I had was, I had requested, order to advertise SAP 5321S, that's More High Robinson Crawford Road. That was at the last board meeting, Lane, I'd asked for that, I don't know if that was done or not, contingent on state aid approval. We've had our field inspection and we've made the corrections, sent them back to state aid. I expect those plans to be ready anytime.
Court orders were signed yesterday. If you'll come by my office, we'll go through them. And I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I feel like it.
I think it was.
If you need, what you do, go ahead and get something or whatever, just go ahead and get a call.
I'm confident it's in there. We just
Was
gotta
it
dig
the last-
down.
I expect we'll get the plans probably back, ready to advertise this week, and then I'll contact you about an advertisement date, bid later. Okay, second item I had is a proposal for a program document. This is to replace bridge number 156 on Sun Creek Road. This is a bridge that has some head wall and erosion issues on the end. The bridge is basically too short. After meeting with Supervisor Howard, our road manager out there, we felt it probably more prudent to just program and replace the bridge. This would be done with SABP funds when they become available. Spoke to Harry Lee James, he had no problem with us programming it, even though we're currently upside down in our SABP. But this will let us get the plan started and move forward. So I would need full signatures, Ms. Sharon, on this at the board's election.
A motion that we allow engineer to move forward with programming, second by Supervisor Little. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Just let me know.
You wanna give it to Wayne, and we can get everybody to sign it?
Yeah, I'll need your blue stamp on both copies and signatures, just let me know when we have them.
If I need to sign them, I can go in and sign them.
Just let me know when you get them signed. Other thing I had, I believe these are in your packet, we had prepared, 2 utility permits at the request of Supervisor Williams for Talking Warrior Water Association. I would just request that you act on those.
Motion that we, grant permission for utilities installation, second by, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Sharon, I can just pick those up at the same time, permits.
Okay, do they all need to be signed by supervisors?
No, they just have to be signed by the board.
Do you need two different, or just
There
one?
are 2 different permits, 2 different locations.
Alright, let's,
See what we need to- I get
One is on Lane Lane and one is on Buffalo Road.
alright, we did Lane Lane, let's do Duffel Road now.
Motion to grant permission for utility installation on which road?
2019
Bethel Road. Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Howard. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
All right, I have one that's not in your packet. Mr. Carton, I apologize, this is the last minute ad. This is a subcontract agreement to allow Atwood Fence to work on the with Tallahatchie Construction on the Sturgis West Point Bridge. They'll do the guardrail. So it's a subcontract agreement for Vance, or for Tallahatchie Construction.
So who was doing the bridge? Who was doing the
There was
guardrail?
none, they've been selecting their contractor.
Oh, okay.
Same general contractor, this company will just put the guardrail in.
Okay.
Subcontract agreement for Vance.
Motion to grant request for subcontractor for installation of guardrail. Motion by Supervisor Little. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
You don't need any signatures on this, right?
I mean, board signatures in the back. Or in front, I'm sorry, it's right here. I'll sign this and the board needs to sign here. On the bottom. All right, is anybody, just way of update, Supervisor Trainer had asked for us to provide estimates on another couple of roads in District 2. We've looked at those. I'm working on the actual numbers now. We've provided estimates on Old Highway 25 in South Montgomery. And we are preparing an estimate on Artesia Road right now. The small span drainage stuff, we have physically looked at every district. And we're putting those pipes and small bridges and what have you on the map now. We should be able to come back to you soon with a number of them in each district. Whatever.
Are you all adding any notes on condition or anything?
Well, we've not started inspecting, we just started
identifying.
okay. Right now, getting them on the map. And that's with the help of Carl and GPBD. We talked to them and with state aid. We're trying to generate a overall map that shows where all this stuff is and what it is.
Okay.
Morgantown Bridge is under construction.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Sturgis Maven Road, we've completed the base repairs. They are starting soil cement reclamation today. So John Weaver's out there with them. With any help, we could be overlaying within 2 weeks out there.
Good.
So that job's moving on very well. Sturgis West Point Bridge is underway, it's doing well. The County Lakes slurry, Supervisor Howard, they would like to start the patchwork base repair next week.
Okay.
And then in 1st of April, actually do the slurry seal. Okay? So that's sort of where we are. I mean, any questions for us? It's all systems go right now.
Okay, go ahead, Supervisor Trainer.
What's the next step for us to get a project moving on those roads that you've got the estimates on?
Next step is for you to identify which ones you want to do and how we're going to pay for them.
No problem. I'll get with you when I get back.
Very good. I should have, not to interrupt, but I should have the estimates on Cannon, Jordan, and Adams to you this week. On Adams, I went ahead and added reclaim on that paved section by the church on Osborne Road.
Sounds great, sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Morgantown Bridge, do they have an estimated time of when they're gonna be finished with that project?
I haven't asked. I do know the beams are being made. The 100-foot concrete pre-stressed beams, I know the rebar's been approved. I'll check with Blake and get an update on schedule. They do have some work to do on both of the 90-degree curves coming in, just to get the beams to the job. Okay?
What would, this is for all of us in terms of trying to figure out what we're talking about, but what would you think if we were gonna make an ask this year, a larger ask for the county? I'm not suggesting we're gonna get it, but I'd really like to know what would be the biggest bang for the buck if we were gonna ask for some money for one of our projects. What would be your thoughts on that? And my board as a whole. I'm not suggesting it's not, but Clyde brings a wealth of information sometimes that we money is fungible, and we make it move something from over here and make it work for something over here. And
you're talking in road work?
Right.
This one is a little bit out of left field, but in my opinion, the road that needs it the worst right now by way of maintenance and upgrade, and it was an estimate we gave Supervisor Carver early in the term, is Self Creek Road. And it's just at that point where if it's neglected, it's gonna get much, much worse. It's just at the point we could probably do something with it.
Self Creek is worse than New Light?
I would say yes.
They neck and neck.
They're neck and neck. It's close, but I
I was out on both of them, riding them the other day.
The issue with Self Creek, again, it's a long road, but it's just, they get at this point where if they go up much further, then you start looking at reclamation end to end, where it's at that point where they probably say.
You probably could throw Maven Bell.
Okay,
You could throw Maven Bell in there, you could throw New Light Road in there, there's several, but if you're asking me to pick right now, it's probably Self Creek Road.
Those are all in the same general area though that we're talking about, correct?
No, they're apart. Maven Bell is on the north of the county.
Okay.
Self Creek is off of 82 going toward, Sturgis Maven, and New Light is right over here off of 12.
Gotcha, okay. Just trying to
And
get my
Rob,
head.
it's, you know, that's a loaded question, but
Yeah, it's loaded, cause,
I can tell you, we could spend $20 million in this county.
and then still wouldn't be finished.
And, yeah,
How much do you think the three of those would cost if we were able to get all three of them?
12. And that's all from memory. Maven Bell was, do you remember? 1.6. I wanna say Self Creek was at 3.6. New Light was maybe 3, so maybe I'm overshooting that, maybe 8 to 10.
You won't,
And we
they
got
done got worse.
We've got estimates on New Light and Old 25 that will look at it, like,
Yeah,
or South Montgomery and Old 25.
South Montgomery and Old 25, one was like 1.9 and 1.3.
Yeah, so
that's
another 4 for those two.
All right, I'm not suggesting we're gonna get 12, I'm not suggesting we're gonna get any of this, but I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around from a number aspect that I'm trying to play with here.
But
So.
strictly from, again, y'all making the call, but from an engineering standpoint, if I had to pick one in the county right now, probably Self Creek Road.
Clyde, is there any type of grading system that you can, I mean, you know, and I know the experience between you and our road manager riding and the
Well,
supervisors that's got.
I've been,
but
not cutting on Supervisor, that's what I've been doing this past week, riding roads. And I was grading them from A to F, and I'm gonna tell you, we don't have any A's anymore.
yeah.
And we don't have maybe just a few, very few B's. We got C's, and where my C come in, it's gotta be level, probably some reclaiming, and then reseal. We got some C's that need to be resealed with a little bit of patchwork, and those, if they're not done, and I'm gonna tell you, one of them that hit that list is Longview Road. It hit that C list. It's got some bad spots in it that actually need to be dug out or either reclaimed.
Is that, I mean, that's the road that we just.
That's the one we just done.
And that's what I was sort of getting at.
And
If
actually,
there's any way that you can share your criteria,
well,
the way you arrive at your A, B, and C.
well, I'm gonna bring the board a list at the next meeting on every paved road in the county, and I'm gonna give you a criteria on what it is,
Base
where it be
failures
based
and
on
all
what it
of that.
needs. From my standpoint, and I think Clyde and I'll be pretty close on, but I can tell you right now, when you start riding them and just easing along on them, they're getting in bad shape. Some of them that we've just done, that if we don't reseal them, we're gonna lose them. They're gonna fall into that bad road category.
Let me add to that, what slips by you, and I got into this with Supervisor Williams, not got into it, but he and I discussed this. Some of these we're talking about just done are 7 and 8 years old.
Yeah.
And that, chip seal gets you so long, and that's
it.
about it.
Longview was what, 3 years, 2 years?
Longer than that, actually.
I don't think so, because we just gave them,
It
let them off the hook on it last
we
year.
basically wrapped it up during COVID.
Yeah, it was wrapped up in 22.
But there's
Yeah.
criteria for what it needs now, and where I go to, like with South Creek, they get to the point where you can still do a little base repair, overlay, seal coat.
Yeah.
But if you wait 2 more years, then you're full reclaim in.
Full reclaim.
They just hit that point where you think you have to have something done to it.
And there's certain parts of the county where there's a lot more logging that takes place than in other parts of the county, and that would expedite the deterioration of the road when it starts to get to a
I
certain
looked
point.
at St. Mark for Supervisor Williams this week. There's a section that's probably got 60 or 80 acres of logging. It actually held that pretty well, but there's one end of it that is it. So this obviously about 60 acres of timber been cut. We looked at, I called you about Morgantown, just inspecting the bridge the other day. Morgantown Road's in good shape. It's one of the better roads in the county and it's sitting on good dirt. but it's also at the point it needs a seal coat.
It does.
And, you know, very little base repair, very little leveling, but it needs that protective maintenance done on it now. And we had that discussion this week.
How many roads are seal
Coat.
coat, thank you, that's easy for y'all to say. How many of those are out there that if you had this additional money set aside, that might buy some time on those, and what would that cost, an estimate? It ain't gotta be perfect, I'm just trying to figure out where the best bang for us to go with this would be.
Maybe overall 20% of the roads, paved roads in the county.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
You just said I had reseal money, or slurry seal, or scrub seal money, which is, scrub seal is what I've recommended on South Montgomery with an overlay. That's a little different process, Supervisor Howard, than a slurry seal. Kind of pushes a little wave of asphalt, pushes it down in the cracks a little bit. But I say 20-25% of our paved roads need some type of seal coat now.
And it ain't like that ain't $1 million problem, that may, 20% of that's gonna be, that may be $10-15 million to
We
do.
can spend $10 million on seal pretty quick. And historically, and some of the longer tenured supervisors realize this, every 4 or 5 years or so, we've had a major seal project in the county, where we just picked candidates for seal and went back and did reseals on them.
And that's what I'm working on now with the county roads, is trying to see what actually we can go in and do as little repair on and get them sealed up.
So potentially, if I could figure out a way to get us some seal money, and maybe even break that down to yearly, where we get it yearly, I think the state needs to be looking at this in general.
Yeah,
because it would be
no doubt.
trying to figure out how to mold this is what I'm doing. Right.
That maintenance, and put these roads on a schedule. And they would, you know, every 4 or 5 years or whatever, they would come and rotate back around.
Well, it'd be beneficial as a whole, because almost every county has this same problem.
Correct.
And since money is fungible, if we had a way to have a maintenance program, we could at least take the money that we were using for resale and do some of these other roads that are gonna be more, I guess, deeper in terms of what we're having to do to them. I'm just trying to figure out how to.
Well, it's pretty simple. If you were just scrub sealing without the striping and stuff, you're talking about something in the $50,000 a mile range.
Right.
If you're talking about full depth reclamation, you're up $50,000.
But the quality of life that $50,000 a mile gives your roads, and the protection that it gives you for the future, I don't know that you can. That's a lot of.
No, I'm just saying,
bang for
you
your buck.
do 10 times the cost
Yeah,
when you
right.
start
That
reclaiming.
$50,000 a mile, what he's talking about, that's just for the material to do it.
Right.
That's not the
how much for the people on the
yeah,
ground?
it's not for the people on the ground, it's not for the machine. Because that's, I mean, $50,000 a mile is what
Yeah,
we give
it
it for
is.
soil cement right now.
I'll tell you, when that road advances to the stage that it's a reclamation or
Yeah.
a rebuild, then you're 10 times.
Right. Would it be okay if this may not work for this year, but maybe for next year we start gearing up so that we have because this would help the whole county. Trying to get us a reseal program together, and maybe we'd be ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I was wondering about if we can, and I think Carl is working on this, but putting together a project, starting to take notes on roads that if you reseal it in the next 2 years, you know, you wait out on your cost, but it extend the life of this road another 5, 6, 7 years as opposed to waiting.
That rolling for the future. So
Well, we got some actually, if we don't reseal them this year, they gonna slip into that bad road criteria.
So we may need to be trying to get us some reseal money.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, I'm gonna make recommendations on some. I don't know whether we can do them, but to do them this year.
How much you thinking?
I'm thinking probably 20 miles of road is, you know, if we can get them all patched, we talking about 20 miles of road that.
In the past, when we were trying to do like a state aid reseal project, we were working 20 to 30 miles of road at a time,
Yeah.
all over the county.
And we've got the machine work now, and we can.
But that would do them, if we had $1 million, we could do exactly what you're talking about for that project.
Yeah. And it's gonna be a little bit of, like I say, it's gonna be a little bit of asphalt, hot mix added to that, where we got a level,
But a
but it's
reseal-
right in that neighborhood.
But a reseal project or something that has I'm afraid to put a road on here, because if the road's name is, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but I'm glad we're having this conversation about reseal, because it's a delicate balance on building and paving new roads as opposed to resealing, because at some point, if you just keep going, then your roads that you already got gonna fall apart, and it's gonna cost you 10 times as much to try to go back. So at some point, we have to go back and try and maintain what we already got at a lower cost, and then continue to move forward.
Just one more comment on that. Supervisor Little and I had this conversation with, say, South Montgomery Old 25. Those projects were worked on, seems like not too long ago, but we did crack seal and overlay. But what I'm trying to do in the county now on those type roads is not mill and overlay, because that essentially just replaces structure. We're getting more traffic, we're getting heavier traffic. So I'm trying to save what structure we've got and add to it. Okay, that gives you more capacity in the future. So as opposed to milling it off and replacing it, I'd rather try to save what's there and build up above it.
Attorney Robinson, you absolutely have the right train of thought.
Just making sure that I'm on the same page that y'all want me to be on.
Absolutely. Is there anything else for our engineer? If not, need a motion to accept. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little to accept the engineer's report. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank y'all. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Sharon, just let me know when I'll pick those up.
Okay, we've got our information technology. What's the last part of that?
Our IT manager.
IT manager, Mr. Carl Zitter. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. It's been a fascinating 4 weeks. Can't believe it's been 4 weeks already. I hit the ground running doing discovery. So just sat down, in the last 4 weeks I've been able to sit down with every department, I'll call them departments, division, department head, get a tour, see what they do, find out what vendors that people are using, what their process is, and just get an overall view of what's going on. Along the way, it's been interesting. I've had to go back and relearn my Mississippi history, how things are done. Coming from the private sector, we just do things, and it's governed by money. Here, it's governed by funds, but it's also governed by legislative items. And some of those things are apparent to everyone, some of those things are not. So last night I actually spent about 4 hours and read about 700 pages of Mississippi how-to. So that was interesting. There are 2 people that I still need to do more discovery with. One is the county engineer. Clyde's been great. He's had me working with his people, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually talk with Clyde about where we are now. And the other one is the board attorney. So those are the last 2 that I have on my list. But along the way, this is what I have discovered. We have all the parts and pieces. We have reasonable vendors who haven't been challenged. We have a lot of people doing work, good work, but the work drives the people. The people aren't directing the work. And a lot of that comes down to there's a ton of information that's available, but how do you put your hands on it? You could have given me a more perfect lead-in. All the information to ask the questions that to answer the question that Rob just asked, or that you just asked, that's available. But how do you put your hands on it? And in 2025, I think that's the biggest challenge for me. It's not coming in and trying to change things. It's how do we augment the information that we have? How do we pull that back together so you guys can make better decisions more quickly, more accurately? How do we capture what's in Clyde's head? He has a perfect map of the county. You don't see that. Victor has a perfect map of the county. You don't see that. How do we take their assessments? How do we then turn around and use technology to corroborate that? Because when you go down to Jackson and try to put this together, and OSARC is very willing, by the way, they're gonna ask you, okay, that's your opinion, prove it. So how do we add technology into that mix to prove those things? And that challenge goes across the board into every single department. It goes into how we secure the networks. Do we have backups on site? How are we out of space storing our records? Do we have a system where we can recall our records quickly? So there's a lot of challenges, but it's really the same challenge in every single division or department. Is how do we take technology in 2025 and we make things a little bit easier and a little bit more accurate and a little bit faster so that you guys can make better decisions. So that's where I'm at. 4 weeks of discovery. Now we've got to pull all that together, put a plan in place, hopefully get a system that we can recommend and then bring that to you, so you can put a strategy in place. So
Some of the conversation we've been having with Vic and with Clyde regarding the grading system of the roads, what are you seeing as potential as it relates to that? What do you want to leverage?
So we have, Golden Triangle Planning and Development we have a tremendous asset in this county, much better than in other counties. We have all the technology that you could imagine, and then some. We have technology that goes beyond what MDOT has. I've used it in other states, it's fantastic. They already have a system that has all the information that you're looking for, except the grading of the roads. And we can do that 2 different ways. One is we can use technology to actually grade the roads. It finds every pothole, every crack, it measures it out, it sets all that up into a mapping system where you can see it. And then it automatically creates a grade for that. But we can also take the grading criteria of Victor and of Clyde and of OSARC, and we can apply that same and pull it all together where we have multiple grades. But you can end up with a ranking across the county between intersections of every single inch of pavement that you have from multiple angles. And at that point, you can create a rank, quality, and then you can build prioritization on top of that. And once you have that, now you're on with the information you're looking for. We have the exact percentage of roads. We have the recommendation of how we would approach that. You have the percentages that you're looking at. And it's not just out of Clyde's head, which may be really, really accurate, but you'll have all the data necessary for an outside party to come in and say, you're right, 23%, right? And we see your point. So we have the GIS, we have much of the data. What we don't have is we haven't put in place a plan to use that on a scheduled basis, whether that's Victor or Clyde or the technology. I think we can do it on a more frequent schedule, every quarter, every 6 months, every year, whatever the schedule needs to be. But we haven't put that in place yet. It's basically been ad hoc inspection, other than what the county engineer is mandating every year, every 3 years, depending on what type of asset it is. So I think we have the ability to get more information so that you have more timely results and just a lot more accurate information available to you. And it's not necessarily in a list. It comes up on a map, you can see it, you can touch it, you can actually ask questions of it. How many of this, where is this?
So the county engineer mentioned that he was working
Supervisor, Supervisor Carver, can you all hear the conversation?
Everything, I heard it loud and clear.
Okay, good deal. I was gonna move the phone down, but you good.
So the county engineer mentioned he's trying to get a good list of bridges. Now, we got a lot more assets in the county than just bridges. Is the technology that you're reviewing capable of, number one, have we got a good list, whether it be in the system or not in the system? And number two, is your technology that you're looking at capable of tracking all of these assets and tracking the grades on them? Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes. We can catalog everything, we can inspect everything, we can record what we find, we can then pull all that information back and report on it. So we have, I'll throw my random statistic out there, we have, from what I can see, somewhere between 80 and 90% of the assets in the county tagged, minus signs and small culverts. That includes fire hydrants. But what we don't have is we don't necessarily know what's the size of the main that's underneath the fire hydrant. What's the water pressure at that fire hydrant, for instance? If we have a small culvert, when was it put in? we may not have that. So there's some information that we'll have to build from here forward that we haven't captured. But most of the main assets, the roads, the bridges, that's been very accurately mapped. It's just been mapped several years ago, and now it's starting again.
This would be, when we were having a discussion about whether or not we need a sewer or water, whatever we need, why should the county be involved in this? What he's talking about right here is probably one of the reasons, at least we need to be minimally involved in it in terms of, because if you have a water line, just because you have a water line out toward, I'll use Adeton for the example, just because you have a water line that's covering residential water out there doesn't mean you have water line out there that can cover a place in which you can attach a fire truck's hose and put a fire out. A lot of those mains out there are less than 2 inches, or maybe 2 inches or thereabout. If we do get some sewer systems out there, I have a real concern about a private sewer system coming in here and basically robbing our people of, some of these things are $80 to $100 a month for just sewer. Now that suggests that it's expensive to put sewer systems in, then that's a fact. But if we don't have this information available to us and maybe working in with our utility systems out there, we're not going to know where we are, and the economic development problems we're running into on the east, thank you, on the east side of our county. I mean, these are real issues, and they reflect a tax dollar that we're not able to grow anything out there right now. I mean, we're stuck. We're probably 2 to 5 years behind where we probably need to be out there, and probably more than that in terms of utilities and stuff. So this, what you're talking about, it's going to have some expense involved in it, but the bang for your buck in the future will be huge. Just in the sense of letting utility people know what we need, what direction we're going in. And we're going to have to put some, to your point, some rules down that show that this is what we need to be doing. Now, I have no idea what that looks like.
The question that comes to my mind is how do we drive collaboration in that? None of these sewer systems report or work to us. None of these water associations report or work for us. You know, how do you drive collaboration? And that's a challenge we're going to have.
That's a huge challenge.
Working with state aid seems to be a pretty simple task. Obviously, we have control over the assets that we have, which are roads, bridges, culverts.
We're going to have something that makes these, and I say this with respect. I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything other than let's move in the right direction. But I think that state law is going to have to mandate rural water and sewer work within the county within certain parameters, and at minimum give us have to okay at least pipelines and things like that, because otherwise we're going to have a problem.
Well, if that's the direction you want to go, you know, we're going to have to spend some money as it relates to the systems necessary to track it all, and
Absolutely.
the systems necessary to display it and report on it, right? So we're looking at GIS, we're looking at having to have licensing all the way down into the water districts and the sewer districts in order to support trying to gather that information.
Right.
You know, and the questions that arise as a result of that is who's paying for it.
So in the next month, I hope to be able to bring all those facts and figures together. We've already reached out, or I've already reached out. Being the technology guy, I have no power. I'm benign. I'm easy to talk to. And so we've reached out to ITS at the state level, OSARC, on this particular project. The GIS group, Maris, talked to the top 5 counties, the largest counties in the state, DeSoto, Jackson, Hancock, Lee. Haven't reached out to Lafayette yet. That's a good model for us to compare ourselves to about who's doing what. We've reached out to Esri, vendors.
Tell us who Esri is.
Esri is the company that makes ArcGIS, so they're the largest GIS vendor in the world, private vendor. It's not the only way to go, but they're the largest, and that's what GDP uses right now. We've reached out to Mississippi State, Homeland Security. These are all critical assets that we're trying to identify and map. You might not say a sign or a culvert is, but it falls on the list.
You mentioned GIS a lot. Could you?
Sorry, geospatial information systems. It's just that, you have a list, but you can't see where that is.
Yeah.
Right? GIS puts the map view of where everything is in addition to what it is and what condition it is. And so it's the combination of a map and a database. Pull them together.
And we've identified, lots of issues that we've got, but I honestly believe this is gonna be the core of solving those issues. Because if we can get all this information together, even if the county decides to go for grant funding or what, we've got all of this information, so when we walk in and make a request, it's all laid out, and I think that'll help us a lot when it starts coming trying to secure funding for these projects.
So far, I haven't had.
Go ahead, Supervisor Carver.
We're thinking about GIS, and we mentioned the RGIS field map that the PDD does for us.
Yeah, that's what I've been working with Clyde's group on, is to and also with Victor, we're looking at how we can take our guys that are in the field and actually capture and inspect in real time and have that flow right into our GIS system and then make that available to you guys for consumption. So we're actually working on that now.
I just explained to a room full of supervisors last night for the PD, and I didn't know statewide, but if you put your county in, that's the judicial seats, the floodplains, pipe streams, and we've got pretty good. I'd encourage y'all supervisors to use it, but we've got pretty good GIS field map that I use almost every day. I can be in somebody's yard or somebody wants to buy some land, and I tell them whether it's a floodplain or not. But that is a valuable asset that the county has, and I use it.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Supervisor Carver.
we have the technology. It's just pulling it all together and making it useful and putting procedures, around that. And I haven't had any kickback from anybody that we've talked to at the state level, local level, anywhere, all the way down into the rural water associations. Everybody has the same problem. They all need to know, where's my stuff? And if you've been operating for as long as all these entities have, sometimes you don't know, and you need to know. And so this seems like it cuts through barriers, right? You might not be able to, as an entity, go in and say, I need you to do X. But when we walk in and they have the same challenge we do, where is my stuff and what condition it in, and how can I operate it better? Now you can start working from the technology angle, and it tends to bring people together. And so far, that's what I found. Everybody that I've talked to has said the same thing. How can they participate? So I'm excited, but there's a lot to do. And
one of the national priorities and something we need to be concerned about is our cybersecurity. I know you've been working with the state. Can you give us a little bit of update on that with your efforts with Greg and that bunch?
Sure. So we have one of the most state-of-the-art projects that I've ever seen coming on board in the next roughly 45 days now with 365 Labs. Below that, we have security that was enabled in 2004 and it hasn't been touched since. And that's the actual state of affairs. You'll get a more detailed report at some point. But one thing that the state offers to us at no charge has been, there's a pool of about $12 million that has come down to the state, sitting in the state coffers, and they're looking to spend it. And the way that they go about that is you apply, or you agree to doing a cybersecurity assessment. And we've managed to get every department into that program. And there's a third party that at no charge will come through and do an assessment. If they find, they'll take their findings and whatever their recommendations are. If you have deficiency, that puts you in the running to apply for 100% grant funds out of that 12 million to improve your situation. So we managed to get into the pool. So everybody's in now. The courts, every single department that we have is in the running for that. Now that'll take 10 months, 12 months to take effect, and we've got to do some things before then, but I need to get with Wayne and actually say, look, this is what I see as the top priority things, and then how do we fund that if we can't wait? So.
I would like to get this board to acknowledge that last Friday, which was the deadline, February the 28th, we submitted a number of, how would you phrase that, a number of
memorandums of understanding and agreements.
Memorandums of interest, I think was how would be a better way to term it. to the state and so that we would be able to access this $12 million as it develops. So if I could get this board to acknowledge that we did that, get it spread upon the minutes, so that if it comes up later, we'll be able to apply for those grants.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
How do we, because this wording's important, let's make sure we get the wording correct, how you need it. To acknowledge.
So what I would like is for the board to acknowledge that we did apply on February the 28th for, we did express interest in applying for future funding. And what that did was it opened up our capability to apply for funding that's available in the future. I don't know how to word that.
For security, is that
Cybersecurity.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But we kind of made some executive decisions and moved forward with that
Well, it was
on the
deadline.
advice of President Howard, because we didn't have time to assemble this board. Some guidance that came out pretty late, and then we didn't get it till a little bit later, so we moved ahead with it with the understanding that we would get subsequent authorization to do so.
And if it helps, emergency management of the sheriff's office had already done this and pre-qualified in round 1. This was round 2. I think it hit our desk on Wednesday, and we managed to slip it in and get everybody in by Friday. So it is something that you had already authorized at some level.
This goes a long ways, I guess, in protecting Octavia County in case there's somebody wanting to try and shut down the entire county.
Yes, sir.
You know, so.
It's the beginning
Yeah.
of that process.
Well, and we don't have the technology at this point. Our risk is limited somewhat simply because we're a little bit behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as we begin to make the improvements, it's important that we get the foundation in place for good cybersecurity as we try to hang additional resources on our existing networks.
That's the most positive spin on being behind I've heard in a while. I appreciate it.
Coming out of the dark ages.
I like it.
Is there any other questions for our IT manager? Well, Mr. Zeta, thank you so much, and we the more you talk to us, the more we realize just how far we've got to come and how long we should have had you 20 years ago.
Thank you.
But thank you for everything that you do. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure what you're doing is going to help, not just for infrastructure on the ground and in the ground, but infrastructure all around the county, when it, even in administrative offices and justice courts and chancery clerks, all of that. So we're excited.
Well, thank you for the extra time.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Motion to acknowledge. Motion by Supervisor Little. Second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. I hope I'm getting them right. They sound about the same.
I've been doing the same thing.
I've been listening to English
Okay. Okay. Next we got our Chief Deputy, Mr. Johnson.
I'm good.
Okay, we're still rolling then. Next we got our Road Manager, Mr. Victor Collins. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I've got some stuff I need to pass out to you. This is on our spraying quote for the roadside spraying. We've got 3 quotes on that.
Now, these were not in the packet, is that correct, Vic?
They wasn't in the package, but what I could tell, or what I was told. Have y'all got it? Everybody got one?
Okay, that's one of them. Gonna pass you out some more. This is
I
the
guess
second.
I'm confused. This is talking about gravel and,
Alright, I'll explain.
All right.
Just give me a minute to get them all out there, and then we'll go. Is that enough for everybody? Okay. Alright, we got one more. This is our third one. And then I'll explain to y'all everything that we got. Okay. We'll go that way. We'll go that way. All right. We have 3 quotes on our roadside spraying. For the gravel road, and y'all may want to write these down because it's going to be 6 different prices. On our gravel road from Helena Chemical, $55,000.
Hey, before I run over to them, Mr. Collins, are all these comparable on the road miles and everything?
Yes,
Okay.
Alright.
Comparing apples to apples.
Yeah, Okay.
55,000 for Helena?
That's on the gravel road, yes, sir.
Okay.
Alright. Have y'all got the quote on the paved roads for Helena?
No,
Okay.
just the
Alright. Let me get you those.
Yeah, it's
yeah, that's
together.
here.
Mine's not.
Okay. If you
This
would
one
pass
goes
her.
together.
Yeah, they came down together, that's why.
Well, I got paved road, no gravel.
Yeah, hang on.
Here's gravel.
I don't have
Okay,
paved
here's
road.
your gravel.
Yes, I don't have,
Missing paved.
yeah, I'm missing page.
I'm missing paved, but
Okay,
Just,
there we go.
okay.
They just didn't get,
okay,
here you
we got
go.
another paved, we got the paved.
Okay, everybody got one. Alright, Helena Chemical for paved road. We got a total of $85,500.
And that's for,
That's for paving.
324 miles.
Yes. Okay, alright, that takes care of Helena Chemical. Alright, T&T specialty application. On our paved roads, we got a total of $88,500. On our gravel road, we have a quote for $57,500. And they all staple together in one. Okay, did everybody get that?
And these are 3 applications for
Yeah.
each one of them.
Yeah,
We have.
There's three different quotes for the same thing. Okay, we're down to our last quote, Pro Chemical. Alright, on our paved roads, $71,685. And on our gravel road, $46,652.
So Kim Price, the
Yes.
lowest on both. I'm making a motion for Kim Price.
Go ahead.
I'm making
These
a
are-
motion for Kim Price.
Okay, and these are annual.
Yeah, these are in.
Yearly, okay. Motion by Supervisor, Little to accept Kim Bro's, quote.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Carver. Any other discussions? All in favor?
Discussion, that's for what, for gravel and paved, or both of them is gravel?
Yeah,
Yes.
gravel and paved.
Gravel and paved, the, Kim Pro breakdown for
Kim Price is the
gravel,
lowest on both.
for paved roads was 71,600
I
and,
got you, no problem.
okay, And just before we move forward, 3 applications. Is that per application?
One application on the gravel road.
Gravel.
Only one application on the gravel road. All right, now if you look at your quotes, you'll see the breakdown on it. It's only
Okay.
it's $23,895 per application.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
comes to
okay, so
yeah.
February, March, first application, then May, June, second application, and then August, September, final application, and all 3 of those applications come up to be 71,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha, I'm clear.
Have we used this vendor before?
We have in the past, yes. It's been, I think it's been a while.
And it says in here, I'm saying this for y'all on the phone, since you don't have it, that, you know, if you want to ride along and see how they, do their business, you can.
Yeah. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
All right.
So was that Representative Kemper?
Uh-huh.
So your first application, when are you planning on starting, your first application?
We'll get with, Mr. Victor, we can get with him this week and see what, we need to do going forward, what he thinks would be best, and we'll start getting it on our schedule, for sure.
Okay.
We appreciate the opportunity to work with the board and with the county. I'm a Mississippi State alumni, my boss's boss is, the owner's daughter goes to Mississippi State, so it runs deep for us, like Chippewa County, and we appreciate the opportunity.
Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 2 on my list, temporary road closing on Douglastown Road. And we're gonna have 4 locations that we're gonna close on that road. And they'll be temporary, we're gonna be replacing covers. So I just need board approval to do temporary closing on Douglastown Road.
You got a time frame?
Well, the first one, we've got to put a cover together. It will be tomorrow. If the weather holds, they're gonna be there welding the cover together, and we're gonna have to get it in the road in order to do it. And then we're gonna need 30 days. We hope to have this done before the end of the month.
Okay.
All 4 locations.
So you're not gonna close all 4 at the
No.
same time?
We'll have to close them in one at a time because of the way the outlay on them.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're all up and down the road. We'll close them and turn them to what cover we're putting them in.
Okay.
What cover we'll install.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Howard. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Next on our agenda, we opened bids last Thursday on 2 items. The first one is going to be tree cutting. We had 4 bids.
If you look in your county administrator report.
Yeah, it's going to be in that.
Bids in that report.
I saw it.
He's trying to steal my work.
Well, I didn't know if you was covering it or I was covering it, so.
I'm just joking. We had 4 vendors bid it. B&H Tree Service bid at $625 per tree. We had Wilson Tree Service bid at $600 per tree. We had Chandler Tree Service bid at $700 per tree, and American Arbor bid at $800 per tree.
I motion that we go with Wilson Tree Services for $600 per tree.
I second that.
Second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Supervisor Carver.
I'm 100% going to support Wilson, but if we even have a negative comment, all I'm hearing is positive, professionalism, safety, and all that, but I would just continue
Well, I absolutely have been super impressed with Wilson and the way they've handled, taking down these trees and the professionalism and the cleanupism after taking these trees down has been, top shelf. So I'm in agreement with you.
I think it's important for the board to understand that when we let this bid this time, we provided the option for 2 renewals for 50 trees for each renewal. And that way we won't have to bid this thing out again until we get through the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
So we'll do 50. If we're still happy with them, we can renew for 50 more. If we're still happy with them, we can renew for 50 more.
Good
Same
move.
price.
Good move. Good move. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Also, we opened bid on a loader trash body that will be put on one of our trucks. We only received 1 bid on that. It came from PacMac in the amount of $124,737.28. It's on the same bid as the tree.
How you gonna pay for that?
Out of money that we set aside for a bucket truck.
It's under Wayne's stuff, under the county administrator.
Yeah, it should be in the same one it's on the same bid that your tree bid was on.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, to move forward. Second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Whatever that bucket truck was in, I think it was on the road. I would have to make sure, but that's what
Follow up with me, let me make sure.
Yeah, we'll make sure. Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda. Well, I already let y'all know that I was working on a road list, a grading system. We've got, I've got 2 districts, already covered. So we're gonna try by the end of this week maybe to have them all done. I'll make a list and we'll get that list to you on at your next board meeting with our grade, and along with that grade we'll have identified what we're grading, and so we'll have a good understanding, and that way everybody can go out and look at what I see. And I do want to say that so far I've had quite a few F's on some roads, and that means they got to be reclaimed and redone. There's nothing else can be done to them. Also, they're working on Dry Creek this morning on that bridge. They're pumping out the water, so hopefully they can get in there and this rain don't bother us. We can get in there and get some welding done on it.
Man, that'd be great.
And yeah, I know I've had people calling me, and I told them we were just waiting on the water to fall, so they went down to pump it out this morning. I think the last thing on my agenda, I believe, we have a resolution from the County Road Managers Association. And what it's doing is asking the county to acknowledge the county road workers as first responders, and along with that, it's asking for the signature of all the supervisors.
A motion that we accept. Been seconded by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
That seems to be all I have on the list. If there's anything coming from you all that we need to take care of.
Any other questions for our road manager? If not,
No covered requests.
no request for coverage.
Mr. Howard, last board meeting, we had one for Powder Bell Road, but I didn't have the information as far as where. Do you have any information left? I think we already put it in.
You all are working on it. I did get that address to A-Shop.
Okay.
Good deal.
Yeah, I thought he told me he had the information and he was gonna go out and try to get it in.
Certainly did.
All right.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Carver to acknowledge road manager report. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Okay, next we've got our Chancery clerk, Ms. Livingston.
I had one thing, just, a renewal of my Toshiba copier.
Before we leave.
All right,
He needs approval to go to a Mississippi Association of Supervisors Minority Caucus. It's got a registration fee of $250 and it's in a hotel of $150. I think he needs approval for that.
So moved.
That's under,
Second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion?
is that April the 8th through the 11th?
Yes.
We've got it on the county business for the.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was attached to his down here. I'm sorry.
Well, it says we've already carried it.
We did the motion.
Motion, Howard and Little.
I'm sorry.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, Ms. Livingston.
I just need, approval for the renewal of my Toshiba copier that's in my office and in the vault.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Livingston. County Administrator, Mr. Carpenter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have quite a few items on the agenda this morning. Maybe we can roll right through them. In the same vein as the Chancery Court, the Justice Court is requesting approval to renew their copier agreements.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Second item is to reappoint Mr. David Kennard to the Tombigbee Water District Board. His term expired on December the 21st of 2024. He is present today. I'd like to acknowledge his presence to the board. And we had some long conversations. I was pretty amazed at what the Tombigbee Water District and David are doing for us. So if you have any questions for him, he's here today to talk to you about them.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little for reappointment. Any other discussion?
Thank you for all that y'all do for us, we really appreciate that.
Absolutely, and just.
Let me carry it there. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. We'll hear from Mr. Kennedy.
Thank y'all for the opportunity to do this. I think once we get going, I think we've gotten some projects going. I think we can see what the benefit is of what we're doing, and I think as we go through this, I think you'll see more and more projects come through this. And I think, the help that we can give to the county, I think it'll pay off. I really do. And I appreciate the opportunity to serve for y'all. If there's anything I can do for any of y'all, let me know. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do
Yes,
and
sir.
all that you all have done since we joined. I mean, it's been incredible.
Just let us
And all this
know.
stuff that we're gonna get y'all to do.
That's right. That's right. Thank y'all a lot.
Thank you.
Third item is to appoint Miss Carolyn Oswalt to the jury commission. Miss Oswalt will be replacing her late husband, Mr. David Oswalt, as a former supervisor of District 4.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Howard. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Miss Oswalt was scheduled to be present at our Boys and Girls Club event, but she was sick this weekend, so she will not be available for that event. We'll bring her in at a later date.
Sounds good.
I received some information that's in your packet regarding a road that Mississippi State University is taking the lead on. The road is Wingo Way. It goes from Blackjack to Hill State Boulevard. They already have all of the funding. They just needed us to acknowledge that they were gonna be the lead, and they were gonna send that to, Jeremiah Dumas, who is Executive Director of Transportation. They were gonna let MDOT know that they were the lead organization on this road.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Next item is approval of Cintas uniform rental and cleaning agreement. This is a renewal of that. It's an ongoing agreement.
Have we been satisfied? Well, Mr. Collins gone. I think we have.
The people that I spoke to, Darrell, Dick Collins, I mean, they all seem to be very satisfied. I think their level of service has actually improved. They've got a new employee that's handling our business, our account now, and things have gotten much better.
Good deal.
I just want to make sure that this contract does not have an ever-burning clause in it.
Oh.
Yes.
I know most of them do.
I don't know what that even means.
Evergreen means if you do not specifically, write it in there and say it's only for this 5-year period, then it renews automatically, and you don't get to bid it out.
Well, if you want to table it, I will get our board attorney to go through it and see if it meets with your questions.
That's the only thing about those contracts and things convertible points. I know they all have them, and it's an evergreen clause.
I tell you what, let's delay it just a second, and Rob, could you scan through it and see if you can catch that real quick? If not, then we'll end up tabling it. How about that? Let me get through the rest of my business. Rob may be able to answer that question.
What's the next one?
Vic already covered the Wilson Tree Service bid and the PACMAC bids, so we'll go through that one. The other thing that I have is the Oktibbeha County Lake Dam inspection was received from Scott Taylor. I offer that inspection up for your review and approval. If you are satisfied with it, then I will forward that to the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality.
I reviewed it. Looks good to me. I motion that we accept it. Second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I offer up to you 2 invoices for review. One is for payment to Pritchard Engineering in the amount of $600. You had asked me to do a little bit of research before we paid that last month. Based upon what I've been able to figure out, we have not paid this on Sanders Road. And the reason we didn't pay it at the time, because it's a little bit dated, is because we were waiting to see if it got picked up in the Tom Bigby Water District project. It did not, so now he's subsequently doing it for us. And then
We're gonna do them
we gotta do them individually, that's right.
A motion we take to be.
Motion by Supervisor Little. I'll second that. That we pay the invoice for County Engineer Pritchard. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
The other item is the credit card. The Sheriff's Department spent $758.16 on their credit card. If you have any questions, I will attempt to answer them.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I have a list of payroll changes that were submitted in your packet for your review. I offer those up for your approval.
I move.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Also in your packet was the claims docket for the month of February, totaling $29,560,979.10.
Motion to pay the bills. Motion by Supervisor Howell, second by Supervisor, Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I do have two walk-ons, and a reminder. Austin Barber called me on Friday. He is, very interested to know the board's priorities.
Okay.
I told him that I would relay it to the board at this meeting. I don't know how to advise the board if we want to take it up now with so many people out. I don't know how wise that might be.
Go ahead.
All right, we don't have any time to put it off, so this is what I would suggest is let's take the roads that we talked about earlier, make those the priority, what roads we asked for. But I would also ask the three roads that were discussed. It was
Self Creek, New Light, Maven Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately $10 million.
Yeah.
Let me Self Creek, Maven Bell, and
New Light.
Thank you. And also add in there.
I thought we had already discussed that prior to what we're gonna do.
I know at the last board meeting, I think we made the Center Grove Water Association as top priority. But I have been in discussion with them, and it's a possibility that they're gonna get funded for this new well that they need. But we can still keep it at second behind those roads, if that pleases the board.
Right. I'm not trying to push any direction. The other thing is that we might could even put in here if a particular road isn't where we land, put in there that we're asking for help with our sealing process for Oktibbeha County as part of the starting point for that. Look, let me kind of lay this out here. We're asking for a huge sum of money for our community for the school project. I know that doesn't necessarily suggest that it's for Oktibbeha County, but here's the elephant in the room when you're dealing with this stuff. Whenever we ask for this stuff and we are asking for different things, whether it's for the city of Starkville, whether it be for Oktibbeha County or our school districts, and unfortunately even MSU, we end up getting mixed in with that sometimes. That money is assumed to be for us, so even if we've got our aligned projects, if we end up getting funded for our K through 12 high school project that we're working on, then that's probably going to either reduce or eliminate everything else. And it's not my rule, it's just the reality of when you're starting to ask for money. However, that doesn't mean I don't suggest that we don't go and ask for this stuff. It means that I just want y'all to be aware of the lay of the land of what that looks like.
Representative Ross, what about matching money?
That doesn't hurt, but what's going to happen is we've got about 4 weeks left of this session. In the last week or two, I'll be honest with you, heck, it's probably the last 3 or 4 days of the session. That's whenever there'll be a huge push for whatever money may be left over. And the reason I'm trying to figure some of this out is if there's money available for road construction, I want to be able to go grab as much as we can and just plug in for that spot. And if there's money for water associations, I want to grab for that money. And then this school issue, that's just a different, y'all, we're talking about different numbers. We're talking about huge numbers for that. And so it's going to be a fight for whatever we get. Keep in mind we have a sewer, City of Starkville is going to be asking for some money for that sewer that affects us as well. So all of this stuff kind of pans into itself. we just need to be fighting for every nickel we can get. And so I'm gonna try to get us what we can get from the county, but the reality is that we're just making some pretty big asks this year. And I don't wanna sit here and act like there's just a lot of money that's being asked.
On your way back to Jackson today, do you think you could call Austin Barber
I'll talk.
and see if he could give you potentially some assistance in lobbying for these priorities that you described here?
Yeah, he'll be happy to hear that. And we've talked about the water, and we talked about a couple of the road projects that are involved here, but we didn't nail anything down. And I said
Well, what we don't want to do is have Austin pulling in a different direction than you're pulling.
Right.
And so I'd almost rather y'all get together and figure out how y'all gonna attack this thing, as opposed to me trying to tell Austin what this board, what the priorities of this board are, that may not be communicated effectively for what you're trying to do.
I think that's perfect. Yeah, we can do that. Is that acceptable to all of my board members?
Say that again, but I think what you're saying is, the 7-12 situation is not really no, I don't know that it's a board priority. I thought it'd be more of a school board
He's misunderstanding.
something we need to talk about, because if you're, I understand what you're saying, and the gravity is getting big ass.
That's
Increase your eyes on road work getting done, but the reality is, we're more likely to get road money, which is a smaller pot than a big, new high school,
Yeah.
I'm in favor, whichever way you need to go, road to it, right?
okay. I got you.
All right, sounds good. Okay.
I don't know that we need a motion, maybe.
Yeah,
we don't.
I think the plan that we've got in place is the way to go. All right.
All right, final item, so it's a walk-on. I've been in contact with Captain Ward has been helping me. I need this board to approve, 2 designations of entity administrator for the SAMS.gov website. I'm asking that the board approve the designation of me, Wayne Carpenter, as an administrator on the SAMS.gov site, and then I'm asking that you approve Captain Sean Word as an administrator on the SAMS.gov website. He has been an administrator, and we just want to continue that for him. We need to remove Mr. Lois Farmer, and I've got some things here for the board president to sign if y'all will approve those.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
And I'll get with you, Mr. President, after this meeting.
All right.
So to your questions, I think that, and a reminder, we've got the Boys and Girls Club reveal that's gonna take place at 1 o'clock today in Unity Park. About 15 children will be coming. They're gonna be showing us a bus, that they spent the money that you appropriated for them for that purpose. And, of course, Miss Carolyn will not be there, but it'll just be, I've notified a few press, and maybe it'll be a photo op for the board.
All right, sounds good. Anything else for our county administrator?
I'll get you a copy.
If not, motion to accept.
That Cintas
Oh, yeah.
that Cintas
Oh,
contract.
thank you for reminding me,
Yeah, it
yes.
says that the term is, it's only through the term of the supervisor, and they are on state contract.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
I was gonna say, I didn't see
Yeah,
anything
we don't
else
have
that
the
is-
authority to go past the term of the board.
Motion by Supervisor Little, I'll second that. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
So to your questions, that concludes my report.
Okay. Motion to accept county administrator. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. I saw Captain Word come in. Well, did you need to address the board for anything?
He's been helping me with this,
Okay,
or
okay,
Sean,
gotcha.
unless you got something, this is what he was been helping me
Gotcha,
with on this
okay.
SAM.gov business.
Good deal. We're now down to our board attorney.
I think I've interjected myself. We're good.
Good enough. County supervisor's business. We'll start with Supervisor Carl.
Okay, done, thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Trainer.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we approve a purchase of full paid ad for the Little Miss Hospitality Competition.
Okay, you got any amounts?
$350.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor?
One thing, this
Go.
is pertaining to, Madeline Montgomery.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I did make a post today with Patty. Ms. Little represented us well, and also with that program, but that is it's a cool thing, because one of them that's a need to me, but a lady, John Montgomery's brother crowned another lady, and 56 years later, the granddaughters are swapping the crowning, so it's a great honor for Oklahoma County, and it's a great honor for Madeline. I thank Ms. Little for what she does in that organization.
Yeah, John Montgomery's, daughter is the new Miss Hospitality, and the girl who was just the Miss Hospitality, both of their grandmothers went on from being, Oklahoma County Hospitality on to the state Miss Mississippi Hospitality, and they crowned each other, and the two girls crowned each other the other day.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of history for that, because it's not a youth pageant, it is a scholarship pageant, and they grow and learn, and they really come out on the other side really good. They learn interview skills, all kinds of things.
All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
That's good with me, Supervisor. Appreciate it.
Okay, all right. Supervisor Little, you got?
Everything's going good
Okay, all righty.
today.
I asked that the board take up, approval of, Supervisor Trainer. You did want to attend that Mississippi Association of Supervisors Minority Caucus in Tupelo, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct, and it'll be doing the 8th through the 11th.
Yes, sir, that's right.
8th of
So I'd ask the board to approve that trip for Supervisor
I
Trainer.
think we normally just approve for anybody who wants to
Okay,
go.
all right.
Travel for that.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Trainer, second by
Yeah, we've
Supervisor.
already done.
Okay, we've already.
Doing Vic,
Okay, it's already done.
Just for Vic, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's already
Usually
done.
Wait, what?
When we do stuff like that, it's for everybody
Anybody that wants to
to
travel.
approve travel, just like when we go to Biloxi, we'll
I couldn't
approve
accuse
travel.
Victor down here whenever, that was my fault. I asked him, you need to go to this?
Some of y'all need to consider, I know me and myself, we're a date but some of y'all need to consider going to the PDD meeting, that's gonna be in April. You may want to spread it on the next two. But we need to have some representatives at that PDD meeting on Biloxi in April, or whoever we go.
Okay,
That
all right.
DVD meeting's in March, isn't it?
It's in
No, we
April, I
leave next
think.
week to go to Washington,
Yeah.
but this is something different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get an update? I know we've got one more public hearing coming up on our comprehensive plan. Can we get an update how things have been going?
Well, we went, I attended both of the meetings.
Okay.
Out there, and it was very informative. I think a lot of the people that came were very glad they did come, because it was not what they had thought it was gonna be, because those meetings were set up for their input, for them, to tell Slaughter Associates how they feel they need to guide the county and the growth and stuff, that were there. So, I think that it was very beneficial that, that we had those meetings and that people understood, how things were going. And I think they wound up going well. What do you think?
Good deal.
Oh, yeah, so, I was at both. The first meeting was a little bit livelier than the second, but I will say, that
I'll second that.
that information was communicated at both meetings, and I found it to be very valuable. At the second meeting, we had a gentleman that represented some local contractors. We had some real estate, personnel there. They had a lot of good input that I thought informed everybody, so.
Good deal. Well, we've got one more left for the town of Maven this Thursday at 6 p.m.
6:30.
6:30.
Yes, sir, at the city hall.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I plan on being there. Well, thank you all for fielding the questions and relaying information to the citizens of Octaville County. We certainly do appreciate it. I have nothing coming from District 3. So with that being said, we need to set recess meeting for Monday, March 17th at 9 a.m. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Motion to adjourn. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Carter. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. All right.
Oh, look at that.
And just look
Y'all
past
need to go on conference more often.
it.